Hello and welcome. My name is Matt Cervantes. I'm a computer science professor at Butte College in Northern California. And today I'm going to be walking through how to access and utilize the core features of Microsoft Teams. So, in case you don't already know, Microsoft Teams is a cloud based team collaboration system. The point of it really is to just help teams collaborate on different kinds of projects. It does this by providing a bunch of online tools that everyone on the team can access, usually through like a web browser. And they use those commonplace to communicate with each other through a whole bunch of different mechanisms. You could also share and edit files and interact through a whole bunch of different apps that the system provides. Now, I know that may not make a lot of sense. It might be a little bit of a broad definition. So, to help with that, I think the easiest way to understand it is really just to start using it, which is what I'm going to go ahead and start doing right now. Okay. The easiest way to do this is just to go up to your browser, whatever browser you got going on, and just type Microsoft.com. All right. So that's where you want to be. If you click on that, it's going to sign you in. Now, I'm making this primarily for the students at Butte College, but honestly, if you were any other organization that has an O365 system, that's Office 365, you could, if they have it set up, you could do the same thing. I have multiple accounts. Most people would just have one. Today, I'm going to be signing in with my Picard JL at butte.edu. So this would just be your student email account if you're a Butte College student. So you just click on that. It's going to take me to my organization sign-in page. And this is our local sign-in page for Butte College. So that's me signing in as that. I'm just going to put my password in here. And then it's going to ask me if I want to stay signed in. I'm not going to, but if you ever want this to just remember who you are on this browser, you can just click yes, and then you won't have to keep doing this step over and over again. I'm going to click no because I sometimes sign in as different people. So the first thing you're probably going to see when you do this is this page, which is asking you if you want to connect through the web app, which is what I'm going to do, or if you want to download and install a desktop app for your operating system. I'm not going to tell you to do one thing or the other on this. I'm going to be using the web app today, mostly just to demonstrate that you can do pretty much everything you would want to do, all the core features in a browser. But there are some things you can do in the desktop app that you cannot. The most notable thing that I can think of is share your desktop and actually like take control of another user's desktop when you're having like a video conference. But that's a pretty rare moment where it is necessary to have that. So I'm just going to click on the use the web app instead right here. That's going to jump me right into this. Oh, and I can turn on notifications. Dismiss. Okay, so that's how you log in. As you can see, if you already have an O365 account, that was pretty easy. It was really just like 2 or 3 steps. So the big thing there is to just type in teams.microsoft.com. Once you do that, you're pretty much off to the races. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the stuff over here on the left-hand side. The left-hand side has a few core things. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. I'm just going to go through the things that are the kind of the most important or the most valuable, I think. So we'll start over here with this chat. So chat is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. This will let you start a instant message with pretty much anybody who's on the O365. So for students, this is a great way to collaborate with an individual in your class. So you could just click right here, start a new chat. Boom. You can see that I already was chatting with my actual Matthew Sanchez account. So if you already have started chats with other people, you can do that. You can start a new chat here by just doing that and then entering their name. So I'm going to go ahead and just do it to myself. And then you can just start chatting with them. You can say whatever you want. Hello, right? And then there's the hello. And then I'm going to go ahead and log in over here on my other window here to show you what it looks like when somebody else is chatting back. Hello back, right? And so there we go. And then you can just have, this is a really traditional, everybody's probably used to it. Of course, it has all the little emoticons that everyone's used to. You can remove if you post something you're like, I don't know, I don't want that there. You can delete it. You can edit what you wrote. All the stuff that you're used to. You also, I think there's like a way to put in GIFs. So you can put like a GIF in here. all the stuff that you would expect from a normal chat window is available to you. So nothing new or fancy there. But it's really great for just the normal kind of communication that folks are used to. And it doesn't require really much setup, as you can see. Um, the other thing you get with chat in this window is you can also go, this little tab up here tells you all the stuff you can do. You can do chat, which is where we're at right now. You can also go to files, right? Files is just a spot where you can, for that person who you're talking to right then and there, you can share files with them. So sharing a file is just an upload. So you literally are just going to click this button and you can upload files, and then you both can collaborate and edit those files interactively within the chat. I'm not going to do that because I actually don't think this is going to be the common place you're going to want to do that, but you could if you wanted to. You could just share files. And that's pretty much the two main tabs. These other two I'm not even going to go into. I don't think I've ever really used them. But those are sort of the two key things you can do for chat. The only other one I'll mention is these two buttons up in the top right, this video call and this audio call. So you can have a conference call, a live conference call with somebody, and you can actually do it kind of like a Zoom meeting basically, but it'll do it inside of the Microsoft Teams, which is great because you don't really have to install anything. You can just do it and it'll just start working. So again, I'm not going to demonstrate that. There are like a million videos on how these features work, you're more than welcome to do it. But it's there and readily available for basically doing any kind of a one-on-one conversation that you want to have with, frankly, anybody. So that's pretty nice. Okay. Let's see here. The next thing I want to talk about is the Teams section. So this is where I'm going to spend like most of my time. All right. So if you click on Teams, teams are basically like, well, exactly what they sound like. They're teams. They're if you have a project where you're going to be working with multiple people and you're going to be working on something for a little while, like for like a class assignment perhaps, or maybe a big project. This is really probably the better place to do it. The chat place is sort of, my impression of it is very much like this is something where I just need to ask a quick question, get a quick answer back. I'm not having like a long-term thing happen with somebody. It's more just like a one-off question. Teams is more like, hey, I'm going to do something and we're all working towards a particular goal and we're going to be working on this thing for, some amount of time. The easiest way to do this is to just come up here to the top right, join or create a team. You click on that button. These are some of the groups that you'll be able to see teams that already exist out in Butte College's ecosystem, which is kind of nice. I'm going to suggest to my students if you have like a project team that you're going to do in one of my classes, that this is a great opportunity for you to come in here and then just hit create team. You're just going to create your own little team. This will bring up this little menu, which is asking you which template basically you want to start with. I'm going to suggest that probably you're always just going to pick other. These other ones are very specific and they have a lot of extra stuff in them that, frankly, I just don't think a student would ever really need. If you're watching this video and you're not like a college student and you might have some other use for them, or your organization might have other templates that are available. At Butte College, these are the four that they seem to have set up, and I've found that this seems to be the most appropriate for like kind of a small team. So I'm going to go ahead and click Other. Right, they're just going to give your team a team name. So I'm just going to say, pretend team for now. And you can also say a little description to let other people know, pretend team. There you go. All right. Then you can also set up who can see this team. So as you can see in the background there, those are all the teams that were obviously set up with a public view. So any person who ever hopped in here could see them. I suspect that most of the time that's not what you're going to do. You're probably going to pick private. All right, but that if you did for whatever reason have a team that you wanted everyone to join, you could do it that way. All right, and then you just click next after that. And now it's going to ask you who do you want to have access to your team. And this is, if you're the person creating the team, then you start out as the owner, right? Which means that you can basically control everything about the team. But then you can have other people join, and you can give them permission to do different things. I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm signed in with my student account here, I'm going to go ahead and add my actual account. So Cervantes, I'm going to be a actual member of this team. Click add, and I show up as a member. right? And this will send a little notification to that person, letting them know, hey, you've been added to a team. And if they log in, they'll be able to see it in their little teams icon on the left. Click close. And here we are. So now this is your team. This is the pretend team, as we just put it. There's a little bit more organization involved with teams than there are with the chat. Again, chat is very kind of like one-off, and it's not meant to be sort of a long-term thing. I kind of think that they're more just like quick little interactions you want to have, or maybe like just throw up a real quick video meeting with somebody. This is more for a project. And so the way they have this laid out is actually, it's pretty good. There are these things called channels over here on the left. So pretend team right now only has one channel. This is the default channel that every team gets set to, and it's called general, right? And so I'm just going to leave that the way it is. Within the general channel, you can do, it's sort of like a container. You can have many, many channels in your team. You could have like 100 channels in here, and that's fine. And each channel is sort of like its own like little universe within the team. So let's say you had a team that was working on a project. I don't know, you were working on building a video game or something, right? You might have a channel that was just for the people who were programming the video game, and then all the programmers could talk to each other. You might have a channel that was just for the art people, the people who are building all of the tangible art, or the digital art assets for it. You might have a channel that was for the writers. You might have a channel for, so it's allowing, so all of you are all part of the same project, the same team, right? But you could have different channels for the kind of communication that those folks are going to have with each other, so they're not getting all cluttered up with everyone else's conversations, right? So within each channel, you can have a bunch of kind of different things going on. The posts, so that's what this up here. So this is in the general channel. There's a thing called posts. Posts are just like the chat, except that the things that you put into this area, so this conversation. So if I start a conversation here, I can say, hello team, right? Everyone who is a part of this channel of this team will see this. It's sort of like a little message board for everyone, and everyone can have conversations. Now, again, I added myself to this team, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate over there with my other profile really quick, and I'm going to reply. I'm going to say hello back there, and now you can see Matt Cervantes just responded, and everyone can see that there. And you can, of course, all the little emoticons. Let's make sure that we got the heart for me, because that's great. Um, okay, so this is pretty much exactly what you would expect. It's very much the same thing as chat, except that the scope of people who you're interacting with is everyone who's in this channel, basically. So it's sort of like you can still kind of send it out to have an instant chat with somebody, but now it's more like with a group of people rather than just sort of like one person. Again, you can come up to the top right here. You can start a meeting. You can schedule a meeting. So again, you can have the conference call sort of thing happening here, very Zoom-ish. Pretty much, I haven't seen too many features that this has that don't exist in Zoom, or the other way around. So from my perspective, this is basically just a Zoom alternative, except you also get all this other cool stuff. So that's another option for you if you want to do that. In fact, here, I'll click on this just to see what happens. And looky there, see, so you get this going on. I'm not going to turn my camera on, but you can say meet now, right? And now I'm connecting to the other one over here. And then, and it shows up in my other meeting here, so then I can click on that. I'm joining the meeting and joining now, right? And now there's probably an echo. Okay, so now I'm on both. And you can keep having the chat over here on the right. I'm going to leave there. So that was fun, right? So it does exactly what you would expect. All the things, you can turn the camera on, you can mute, you can open up a share tray. In fact, I will demonstrate this really quickly. If you open up the share tray, this is actually pretty cool. You can share your desktop, which is great, but the other one that I have found to be particularly useful is this whiteboard. You can open up whiteboard, which is a whole other app that exists in Office 365, which is really cool. So you can open this up, and it's an interactive whiteboard that everyone in the video can interact with. So you can say collaborate with what everyone can edit, which is great. So you can do this, right? It takes a second for it to load, right? But then I can do this, and everyone can see what's happening on the call. And so you all can kind of diagram something out, make like drawings and whatnot on your call, which I personally think is really great. I teach game design, which is arguably the one that I'm making this video primarily for. And this is a feature that I think that I know game designers often need is as some sort of a drawing board to be able to do certain kinds of diagrams. So this is a really cool little feature that you can get just kind of out of the box for this. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up the call there. It gets out of there, right? And then it asks you how the meeting was and all that good stuff. So that's posts, right? Everything. So this is really, posts is all about sort of like communication. It's really about you having some sort of either through chat or through a meeting, communicating with the folks on your team. The other one that you get out of the box is files. So files is pretty cool. Files will let you, well, exactly what it sounds like. It's basically a document repository. Now, this is different than chat. Again, this was sort of one-off stuff. They have a files here too, but files here is more like you have to upload something and you can interact with that one person on that file. I don't really know where this goes to live, right? It's just sort of like you have to upload it. Whereas if you do it in Teams, it's a little bit better. Notice how you have all these extra features here. And what's actually happening is, and they're kind of hinting at it right here, this is actually creating a SharePoint team site. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. The point of it is that it has created a document repository. So you literally have a space here now where everyone on your team can put files, can edit files, and it's sort of like a central location for anything you're working on. Now, the part of this that I think that most of the students will really appreciate will be this. So you can just create a new file, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to say new, and you get all the Office things that you're used to if you're a Microsoft person. So you can just make a Word doc or an Excel or a PowerPoint, a form even. I'm going to do a Word doc because that's probably the most common thing. Shared doc. It's a pretty generic name. Create. Okay, so now this opens up, basically this is opening up Word Online, but it's doing it within the team, so you still have all your team menu here, right? And here's the thing that I think is pretty neat. Not everyone is going to probably utilize this, but it is pretty cool. You can be having a conversation. So you can open up your conversations here, and you can still be having a conversation with other people. So I'm editing the document, right? And that goes up into the conversation. And then anybody else on your team, and so I'm on this team right now, right? So I can see that. I'm going to open this same document as my other profile just to show you guys how this works. So this part is actually kind of cool. You open it up, and then you can reply, and you can be editing simultaneously. Everyone can literally be in this document at the same time, writing stuff at the same time, and having conversation through the Conversations tab. I'm also editing, right? And then you'll see that pop up here, right? And here's the thing. I'm going to edit this file. Okay, and you can see that it's showing CM. What that's telling you is that the Matt Cervantes, the other person, is also editing this file, right? So even though my cursor as JP here is actually at the end of the word file, right? I'm highlighting this word right now, right? Even though that's where I am, the Matt Cervantes person is in a different spot. And watch, I'm going to go over to my other thing here, and I'm going to just continue editing. You can see the cursor's moving around. Matt is editing the file, right? So there, and in real time, it's showing JP what I'm typing. So people can be editing the same file simultaneously while this is going, which is a pretty cool feature. So if you maybe had like a big document and one person was responsible for writing one section of it and another person was responsible for writing a different section of it, you can just open up the same document at the same time, and one person can just start writing. Like, maybe I'm JP, I'm over here and I'm writing, I don't know, here, let's go over to, where's the headers? Oh, here we go. I don't want this. I'm going to make a Times New Roman, and I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to increase the font size. I don't know. First section, right? And then down here, because I feel like making everyone's life hard, I'm going to change that to Oh goodness, is there Comic Sans in here? Let's do it. Let's make it really bad. Something really weird. Oh, Century Gothic. There we go. And we'll make that a little bigger. And I can be doing that. Or I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong spot. I can be changing how it is set up and making those changes while the person over here is making their changes. So it's a really cool way to work on a file together. And this is possible for any Office application. So I'm going to close out of this, right? And then what we'll do is you can see you can do this for literally any kind of document. You can do that same exact thing for Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Forms, any of them, right? And you can just make them, and then they just stay here. Anytime anybody wants to come in, they can come in here. It saves stuff as you're typing. So it's pretty neat. You could also, again, you can upload files that you already have. And then when it comes time to, if you want to download something to like turn it in, just download the file. You can add it to your own personal OneDrive if you want. Lots of options here. So that's what Files is all about. Files is really all about interacting with each other via files. It's just basically a document repository for you to use for whatever you need to use it for. So these two tabs on a channel are pretty much the default options for every channel. You might see this little plus sign. This allows you to add another tab to the channel. So you can actually, there's many different apps available within Teams. And I'm going to show you a standard one that some people might use. Right? So let's say for the general channel that we wanted to have a wiki, so that everybody who was in here, they were going to be updating like a wiki. Well, you can just click on this tab, and there's lots of different templates. Frankly, there's just a ton of apps. You can see there's just tons and tons of them. All right, I'm going to show you one of the more basic ones here, and that's this wiki one. All right, so you can just add the wiki. It'll ask you, what do you want to call this wiki? I'm going to call it, the wiki, obviously. All right, hit save. It's setting it up for me. Great. And now we have a nice wiki that you and anybody in the general the general channel of this project can edit and update. So here we go. We can start making changes to this. I'm going to say the wiki. I'm sorry, the awesome wiki. Right. And then the first section is the first section. I can't type. There we go. First section. Here is the contents. All right, I want to do a second section. I'll just push this little button here. Second section, more stuff, more contents. All right, and then let's say you want to have another page. You click down here. Here's a whole another page. New wiki page, right? And everyone has access to this. Again, just like for the last thing I was talking about, just for the files. This shows up for your teammates. So right now I'm over here in the Matt Cervantes. I can see all of the stuff. I'm going to add another page, right? I'm going to call it Matt's page, right? And here's Matt's content, right? And I know this one, for whatever reason, is not showing up here automatically. So you might have to click away and then click back. And then, oh, I'm surprised it's not there. That's kind of weird. Huh. Oh, there it is, match page. Oh, it was just hiding inside of, I made it inside of the awesome wiki. So there you go. It actually does add stuff. I thought I added a new section. I just added a new page. My mistake. So you can see that people can work collaboratively, building out a whole wiki, and then you can hide this, and then you can just look at your wiki, right? So this is just one of the many apps that you can add to a channel, right? There's another app that I'm going to show that I think could be useful for people working on a team. So I demonstrated what happened earlier when we did that meet, and I brought up that whiteboard, right? Well, something that might be very useful is to have a team whiteboard where everyone can continue going to it and making updates and changes to the whiteboard, so you can kind of draw things interactively. Unfortunately, that whiteboard app doesn't show up in here. So this is like a little trick. I'm going to show you how you can get the whiteboard into your team kind of in a little bit of a roundabout way. So the way you want to do it is this. That whiteboard app is actually just its own sort of separate app that you can go to for Microsoft. And the way you get there is you go to, let's see here, yeah, you go up to a new tab and just do whiteboard, whiteboard.microsoft.com. If you just go to whiteboard.microsoft.com, same thing, it's going to log you in automatically because I'm already logged into O365. So here it is. And this is just the meeting we just did a second ago, right? Just a few minutes ago. It actually saved it. But then you can create a whole new whiteboard right here. Boom. This is just an app that literally you can use anytime you want, really. And now here's the cool thing. Once you're in here, here's what I'll do. I'll make a drawing, a nice big X. Perfect. All right. You can go over here to share, and click on share, and then you want to have a share link and turn it on. All right. Now you go ahead and copy it. Copy that link. All right. Now we're going to go back over here to the to Teams, and I'm going to go here. I'm going to add a tab. Now this time, instead of adding, like I wish I could just put whiteboards in here, but I can't. But what you can add is, where is it? I must have to type here. I think it's just website. So click on website, and here I'm going to just say the name of the website is whiteboard. And then you can just paste your link that you just got from the previous site in here. And sure, I'll even post it in the tab. You hit save, and then I'm going to say view in the web. Boom. And ta-ta-da, your whiteboard is now inside of the team. And everybody who is a part of your team should now be able to go in to the into it. And I'm going to try to demonstrate that really quick. View on the web. I'm on my other profile now just to show that it's there and that you can see things. So I'm going to make a mark on with the other profile now. Whoop. Whoop. Hey, there it is. And you can see it's all just sort of showing up over here now. Right, so here's I'm making like a weird design now. Here, I'll just color a little bit. And you can change the colors, draw whatever you like. Right, and if somebody actually has like a tablet with like one of those digital pens, like a Wacom tablet or something, they can be drawing. Right, so this is just now it's just a common whiteboard that everybody on your team has access to. So I thought that was a pretty neat little feature. It can come in handy for lots of different projects, and this is a way that you can have it as a part of your team if you wish. Okay. So that pretty much wraps up the teams part. You have, like I said, you have the team, you have channels. So again, you can always add more channels. If you're the one who made the team, then you can just add a channel, right? And I'm going to say like, new channel, just to sort of prove that this is how this works. I'm going to make sure everybody can see it. It'll add the channel, and each channel is its own sort of little universe. So the general channel, notice how it has posts, files, wiki, and whiteboard. New channel only has posts and files. So these are like the default ones. And notice how there's nothing in the files over here. Right, here it goes. Nothing in there because that file that we made last time, that was over in general. So everything sort of stays in its own little container, if you will, and you don't have to organize that. You can just organize it by channel or organize it, however makes sense for your team. All right. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is the calendar. I just want to mention that it's there, I guess. You can click this calendar, and the calendar is exactly what it looks like. It's just a standard calendar. Probably the biggest usefulness to this is seeing if you have any scheduled meetings. They'll show up here. Basically, this is syncing with your Outlook online account through Microsoft. So you automatically already have Outlook online, and this is synced up with it. So if you want, you can schedule a meeting. So schedule a meeting, right? And if you schedule it, it'll show up in here, but it'll also show up on your Outlook calendar, which means that you'll be getting emails about when meetings have shown up, whether you're meeting people who you want to invite. So you can request people to attend. So I can ask Cervantes here to come to my meeting, go to the meeting, right? And it's just a standard meeting, and you could add it to a particular channel even if you want, like we were just talking about. So here in the pretend team, we can add it to the new channel. Let's do that, right? And you can add a little description, all that good stuff. Send it. It'll go. The little a meeting request will go to Matt Cervantes. It'll show up on your calendar, and then people can join it, and they'll see it in that sort of Zoom session that you're used to seeing, right? So I'm not going to do that, but that's how you could, and that's really the big benefit. Could discard it now. That's really the big benefit to the calendar is, I think, to scheduling those meetings and being able to see them, in a nice view. And of course, you can change the scope of what you're looking at. So here's now, instead of just working at the work week, I'm looking at the full week. You could also just, if you had a ton of meetings in a day, you could look at them all in one day, that kind of stuff. The last thing I will mention, as you've seen, I'm doing all of this in a browser, so this doesn't require you to install anything on your computer. You can literally just do everything in whatever web browser you have, which is really nice. That automatically means that all these features are cross-platform. So if you're running a Windows machine like myself, or you're running a Mac, or you're on a Linux box, it really doesn't matter. You can do everything in the browser. But if you don't want to do that, like myself, I actually went ahead and I installed the desktop app, which does make things a little nicer. And there's a few features you get that are extra. And so if you do want to do that, you just at any point you can come on down here to the bottom left, and you can say download the desktop app, and it will just download it straight onto your machine. It'll detect what kind of operating system you have. It'll download it for you, and then you just install it, sync it up, and it's basically this exact same experience, except now it's on an app. They also have a mobile app that you can download onto your phone, and that will work perfectly for any. So if you want to do any of this stuff from your phone, you can do the exact same thing there. I'm going to delete that file. So you have lots of ways to interacting with this. So it's got a lot of different bells and whistles. Hopefully I've sort of shown you kind of the power here, the utility of it, and my overall hope is that you will consider this as a strong option when you're setting up a team to do some collaborative work in a school environment. It's already set up for you, so it's sort of the path of least resistance from my perspective. There's lots of tools out there, lots of different tools available to people who want to collaborate. This is really just one in sort of a never-ending list, but it is a pretty good tool. It's a very popular tool, so hopefully I've demonstrated some of its utility. All right, well, thanks for watching, and have a good one.